lasting longer than Aaron Rodgers. Week 2, we're back. How you doing? Sorry, we had to do that. I had to use that one.
Yeah, that's the second show on the network.
You guys can't even talk because of Ayuk and Trent Williams, so shut up.
All right, boys, wrong podcast for this beef.
Wrong podcast before we start.
Hey, he started it.
That's true. It's true. I did. I couldn't help myself. Good to see you, boys. Welcome back.
We'll lose anyway on Monday.
Yeah. at least you're ready for it. It's week 2, Premier League football. Lots of goals, lots of talking points, lots of transfers going around. Where do we want to dive into that? I suppose the transfer market is the fun one. And you know,
Matty, take it away. Just take it away.
Gonna have to start. I'm gonna have to go back to an NFL reference. NFL teams have cut their rosters down to 53 today, and over the last couple of days.
Don't do this.
When are Chelsea going to get to the same sort of number?
No, never. We're just forever in our preseason era. We just can't stop picking up players. Yeah.
You know how many loan moves you guys have done over the years? You guys got like 25, I swear.
This is the thing that I feel like genuinely does make me laugh. I felt like I know people used to complain about how our squad was under Roman Abramovich, and don't get me wrong, it was stupid. We used to have like 35 youth players.
To basically have a whole like league out in Belgium playing just Chelsea loan players or something.
We'd have at least like 5 or 6 players at Vitesse like a year. That was just like a staple. Like Mason Mount's been there. Like you've not made it as a Chelsea player unless you've been on loan at Vitesse. That's just like a rite of passage. And I feel like people thought when Abramovich went, they're like, surely it's just going to get better. It's so much worse. It's ridiculous. So what even has
so Ivan Toney's next on the list, wasn't he?
Yeah,
it's the latest news.
Well, I mean,
so we've brought João Felix back. João Felix has come back.
Yeah, which is like, where's it? I suppose. I mean, I was going to say, where's he going to fit in? He's already kind of
Sancho. They're trying to swap that. So
Sancho for Sterling? Question mark. That feels.
I mean, he did with that Dortmund stint last year.
He did, but
Sterling won't go to United after being.
He wants to, though.
Yeah, he potentially wants out.
Yeah, he
wants out, but would he go to United after the years he spent at City and at Liverpool, and then to go to?
I mean, Tevez. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have done that.
Yeah, but I mean, Tevez I would take. Tevez isn't, I don't think, personally, Tevez kind of came over from Argentina. He didn't kind of, he just kind of moved around to clubs where he went.
I see what you mean.
Sterling played for Liverpool, who were, hate Man United, then went to City. And to go and end up doing that loop back to United, can't see it, but. If he wants out of Chelsea and he wants to play, and he'll certainly get a better playing time at United than he will anywhere else. But I don't know. It's an interesting one. If he goes to
actually have squad places for him, is the problem. I quite like Jadon Sancho as a footballer, but I just feel like literally any player right now would be like, just don't come to Chelsea. Like, what's the point? Like, what is the point? Where are you going to put your stuff? Are you going to be training with the right team? Like, who knows who your teammate is going to be in 6 months' time? Like, I
don't know, Matty, but you guys played really well.
Just this week.
We did, to be fair, yeah. But this is
the thing. No, but you guys look together. Like, you guys look pretty damn well. I mean, now listen, it's the first game. I get that, but fair point, Groovy. It's the Wolves. I get it, but
I'm not disparaging Wolves. I'm not going to say that. The Wolves.
I will.
No,
you can. I would.
They're just alright.
Okay. They have been slightly decimated. A lot of their main players have been picked off. And
yeah, they all came to West Ham.
Kind of a feeder team for other places.
Yeah, Pedro Neto went.
Chelsea again, wasn't he? Yeah. Chelsea, is he on Chelsea's book as well?
Nah, they usually either go. I mean, the Wolves either go to Saudi Arabia, they either go to Chelsea, West Ham, or Fulham.
Everton. Some of them go to Everton. Yeah. Well, Fulham because they've got that link, haven't they? Because they've got their ex-manager.
Jimenez and Traore now. So the bodybuilder.
The huge guy. Speedy bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
The boy, he is fast, to be fair. He ain't just no regular speedy bodybuilder. He's rapid. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, they've got some squad rebuilding to do. But yeah, I'll absolutely take a 6-2 win. But I also just, I don't know. I just feel, I mean, I feel like I'm going to say this literally every week of the pod. I just feel like Chelsea are just in such a weird spot. Like, yeah, we're in a good moment. Like Cole Palmer got, like, what was it, like 4 assists or something? Like, anyone that
Something insane. Yeah.
fantasy football, he's probably done you an absolute madness. Like, he dragged my team through the mud last year. Like, my fantasy football team was just the embodiment of Chelsea. Cole Palmer just drags me through that.
Drag everything. Yep.
So yeah, I mean that was good. But then I'm also just kind of sitting here like, well, what team is going to turn up next week? They
don't even know. That's the problem, right?
No. But I think the weirdest bit of Chelsea's transfer news, which was been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, I think just waiting for the paperwork to go through. Kepa is being loaned to Bournemouth. Apparently, we have extended his contract for like a year.
Wait, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Kepa, one of
your 15 goalkeepers.
One of our 8 first-team goalkeepers, which are all totally needed. Sats limits it down to 7, which I feel like is a bit more reasonable. So yeah, Kepa is off to Bournemouth, which that's what I mean. That feels like the weirdest bit of business we've done today. That feels strange.
Just today. Yeah, I like the way.
Well, yeah, I mean, by tomorrow we'll have signed like 3 more goalies, so this won't really matter. But at the moment, that's exciting.
Forgotten about this. That's quite interesting. I mean, that's a good signing for Bournemouth as well because they, some experience in between the sticks. It might be quite handy.
It's just a weird one from Real Madrid last season on loan to Bournemouth.
It's a bit random, isn't it?
It's not that weird than Ramsdale going to Southampton.
Yeah,
that's true. Goalies are potentially on the move this season. Down south,
moving around, down to the coast. Everyone's going for that sort of coastline, living. And it's weird because they're the kind of moves where you can almost guarantee that those players will get playing time and will get a lot of activity. Should we say? Because Southampton
exposure.
Yeah, maybe is the right thing to say. Yeah, it's the right word. Is they're going to be busy, and maybe that will put them back in the frame for, a bigger move or back in their national team's frame, etc., etc. So I can see why some of them are making that move. I can't understand why Liverpool have agreed to sign the Valencia keeper, but then just leave him in Valencia. That's an interesting.
Oh, so have you signed him and then loaned him straight back?
We said, he's ours next year, but you can keep him for this year. And I get it, Ian Kelleher is still around, Alice Becker's still here, but I think it's pretty safe to say that Kelleher's going for first team football either this season or January because the boy deserves to go and be a number 1 goalkeeper somewhere.
Yeah, I really like Kelleher, to be fair. Yeah. Good player.
He might as well sign him at Chelsea. No, he needs first team football.
He deserves to be one of not one of 9 goalkeepers. Yeah, I don't.
So yeah,
no one deserves to be at Chelsea right now.
And I see Brighton have been busy. They've picked up a fullback from Fenerbahce and also a midfielder from Celtic. So Brighton are strengthening in places quietly, which is, after their win at the weekend, is quite an interesting. They're still strengthening in the squad. So
I think Brighton are just doing Brighton things, right? Like they're just signing players from like left field that no one has ever heard of. I don't want to sound like disrespectful, but it's so like players that no one else in the league is looking for and nobody else is in for. And I guarantee that come January, they'll both have like 60 million price tags over their heads because they'll be absolute world beaters. Like Brighton are just doing Brighton things at the moment.
Just pulling random things, and everyone's like, "Who? Why? Why have you given that?" Oh, wow! He comes in and actually plays like absolutely blinder, and that's why. Yeah, we saw that before you guys did.
Matt O'Reilly. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's good business. He had a great year last year with Celtic. So, I mean, I just think they just like what you guys say, they just pull everything out out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's always been good business. It's always been good. They've always done good business overall.
Yeah, they remind me of Southampton a few years back when they had that whole sort of with Lallana,
right,
where because they knew they were not competing with the big boys in the big markets. So they spent a bit of time, looking at the Turkish market or the Scottish market and all those sort of fringe ones, and they kind of pick up some absolute gems. And who knows, maybe they've done it again and picked up another couple. So that'd be interesting to see. I see Wolves. Going back to Wolves. They're looking at Andre from Fluminense, bit of a big signing for Wolves, getting a Brazilian in.
Mm-hmm.
Could
It's
be
surprising that they're just signing someone that isn't Portuguese. That feels like a big move.
Portuguese, Brazilian. I mean, there's definite links there, but it is
very true. Actually, yes, good point. Good point.
But Brentford have signed a Brazilian as well. I mean, who saw that coming? Brentford. I mean, great. He's 18.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to dunk on Brentford, which I'm feeling this might sound like just being a Chelsea fan, but I feel like Brentford don't strike me as the kind of club that sign like exotic players. So just hearing that like Brentford have signed a Brazilian, that's quite exciting. Like I went
the
to
second Brazilian they've signed this season.
Yeah.
Come on now, come on Brentford. I actually went to Brentford away last season. Me and my brother got free tickets, and to be fair, lovely little ground, but it is very. I don't know what the word is. I just feel like they're kind of just.
It's
like a little bit Crystal Palace-y. And I don't mean that to beef Crystal Palace. They're kind of just there.
Catching strays.
Yeah, sorry, I'm probably upsetting people now. I
absolutely left, right, and centre. You're upsetting fan base. Yeah, Brentford are one of those. Yeah. They're probably going to be one of those perennial teams that always finish 10 to 14th, 10 to 15.
Right.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I like what they're doing. I really like Thomas Frank, and I like him as a manager, and I like how they do things. And to be fair, like to a point, same with Palace. Like I feel like Palace can be quite an unremarkable team, but there's also something that they're like, do you know what? If they are just so consistently like finishing in a solid place, they're staying in the league. They have obviously a couple of times been threatened with going down, but they always sort it out. Like they just seem like quite a well-run operation, and they're happy. They're in their lane. They're good.
They're not trying too much. A couple of big results come along their way. They're really good at home. They're quite.
I feel like they just always beat City at least once a year. That always seems to happen. Like I don't know why.
Arsenal,
it just
always
rules.
one of those sorts of things. A bogey team for other teams and stuff like that. And as you say, their home form is always good because it's a small ground. It's quite close. It feels like it gets on top of players who are used to playing beautiful football in big wide stadiums. You go down to the G-Tech and it's like really close on top of you. So
yeah.
I think it's great. It's a great story for a club that's come up through the league, through the pyramid, fighting. I'd say punching above their weight, but some of the signings they've made this season. They picked up a couple of the youngsters out of Liverpool. Who the Van der Berg one was always touted to be the Van Dijk successor, but hasn't really taken the steps yet. But he is only 22 or 23.
Yeah, that's quite a
horrible sort of shoes to fill.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'm just shocked they're still here. I'm shocked they're still here. I'm gonna be honest.
Oof.
Yeah, Brentford. I'm shocked they're still here. But you always have that team. It's kind of like Crystal Palace, right? They're just gonna consistently be in the Premier League. And even though they're a mid-table team, lower table team, and that's just always going to be there. It's like the Leicester the last few years, right? Ever since they won, they've been mid. They sold all their best players, and they wanted to leave too, which is totally fair. But I just see Brentford has always been that middle to low pack team. It's like what Nottingham Forest is becoming too,
I think that they are the team that Forest aspire to at the moment. Because Forest are on their way back from that lower division. So if they can get to be like Brentford, which is mid-table security,
right?
Maybe a cup run every now and again to fill the lift things up, and a couple of big wins. Forest will be happy with that for 3 or 4 years because the money that will bring in from that stability will be beneficial, and that's I think where you're starting to see now Brentford after 2 or 3 seasons of having we're kind of low to mid. We're still getting £50 million a year,
right?
Whatever it is.
By it's like the
still
Wolves
doing okay.
Too.
We're still filling the coffers. We can now start to go and buy a few better players now because we've been around and slowly eke their way up. I don't think they'll ever be a big four or whatever else. But if they carry on the way they're going,
I mean,
8th, 9th, the odd sort of.
It's like Villa.
Yeah,
Villa. It's like Villa. Like everyone should aspire to be what Villa's becoming, what West Ham is becoming. Even Brighton, because Brighton has been top 7 at times.
Exactly.
So it's
that sort of wave, isn't it? You spend time, you get settled, you learn how the Premier League works. You build up a cash
Yeah.
reserve, then
Yeah.
you start to buy better players, you move up the league, you start to push for Europe.
Right.
It's that sort of progression, and I think Brentford are maybe 2 or 3 years behind Villa, a couple of years behind West Ham, but they're in that stability.
Right.
Buy a few better players, push yourself up the league a little bit. Don't be, and I think what Brentford are trying to avoid is get in, get stable, then have all their best players get bought out from under them, and then like
Right.
Leicester, completely
Mhm.
plummet. I think they're actually doing a good job of making sure if Tony does go, or when Tony goes, they won't be lost without him because they've already got, a number of other players coming in.
So, like, one bit of transfer news that I found that kind of came out of absolutely nowhere when big man Fabrizio Romano, I'm sure anyone that's into football knows who this man is. He is absolutely everywhere. Federico Chiesa.
Yeah,
coming to
let's
you
talk about
guys.
that. I want to talk about that first. I'll give you the floor last, Groovy.
Yeah, do you know you being an Italian man? I'm
Italian.
assuming you know about this man. So
We should
away
know
you go,
about him. He
fella.
was really good at the Euros. He helped Italy win the Euros in 21.
Yeah, he's one of those players I feel like he's always been on my radar, like especially as coming from like a FIFA standpoint, which I know sounds incredibly uncultured, but he's always been very, very good on FIFA. I've always been aware of who he is, but I would be lying if I said like I knew like intricately about his game and stuff. But I know he's a good player.
Right.
It seems like you've got him for a very low price as well.
Oh my god, they got him in a bargain.
Yeah.
Oh my god, such a bargain. But no, I really don't like this move for Italian players as a whole. I don't like Italian players coming to the Premier League. It hardly works out. There's been a few over the years that have had some success. I mean, Di Canio, right? Ogbonna has some success. There's probably more that I'm going to forget. I know Calaflore is now with Arsenal, and now Chiesa is here. The only thing here's the thing about Chiesa. Chiesa is a very powerful forward. He attacks very well. He's got ball skills very well. He moves very well. He's very, very shifty. The last couple of years, he has not done well. He's not done well in Serie A, and he's got the injured bug too.
Yeah.
And
so do you think that's why the price tag's as low as it is?
Well, it was a high price tag for his wages, not necessarily the transfer. They didn't want to deal with him because of the high transfer with his wages. Sorry, with his wages, not the transfer money itself. Because he was going to go to Barca on a 3.5-year deal, and that didn't fall through. I mean, that fell through, and now he's with Liverpool. There's pros and cons when it comes to Chiesa. If we were talking about Chiesa back in the Euros, like 3 years ago, then I'd be like, oh my God, you guys got a steal. You guys got world-class talent. This is going to be awesome. He hasn't been the same since that big deal he had with Juventus, since the Euros. After all that, he hasn't been the same. Thiago Motta, from the coach of Juve, literally said, he is not in our plans. I don't want him on the team. Get him out of here. He made it perfectly known that he doesn't want him here. So there's got to be something going on with his head. I don't know if it's an ego thing. I don't know if it's kind of like, are we talking about Mario Balotelli over again kind of thing? I don't know. But his shit was awesome for a while. Now his shit's taken now. It's not going the way he wants it. But if Liverpool can unpack that and unlock the old Chiesa, you guys are going to get a superstar. But where would you play him? That's the thing that I have trouble with, because every Italian player that comes to the Premier League, in my personal opinion, they just don't play him, or they don't give him a chance, and it doesn't really work out. In my
Plus
opinion.
that forward line, like especially for Liverpool, like I mean, I know this is coming from a Chelsea fan, but
no, but it's true. You got Jota, Diaz, like Gakpo, like you have Nunez, right, coming back. Where do you fit him?
Where do you squeeze this guy in? And that's what's interesting to me. I mean, I'm thinking back to the previous guy. I can't remember what his guy's name. There was another Italian who came to Liverpool, flying high, sort of a midfielder, number 10 midfielder. Looked a beautifully classy player. Busted up his knee with Liverpool. Never really got played in that number 10 position because I don't want to say we don't play that position very well in the Premier League, but most teams don't have that.
Yeah, I do feel like the number 10 is kind of disappearing.
Yeah,
like
the
especially
Del Piero
in the
role.
Premier League,
The Del Piero role.
Right, the Del Piero role,
There isn't that role in
that
the Premier League.
Because the Totti role again, like Di Natale. It's not there anymore.
It's not there because it's like so.
Kaka was a perfect example with Milan.
Yes, yeah.
absolutely. But it's so frenetic sometimes in the Premier League that Italians, because they come from Serie A, which is a bit more of a technical league where you get time on the ball and stuff like that. They come to Premier League, and first of all, in the first couple of weeks, they're like, "What the hell is this?" It's
And
just
weather change. The weather change is drastic.
Food is massively different. Although that's
Yeah.
probably less so now because there's dietitians and everything else all out
Right,
there.
correct.
But the
yeah.
weather makes a massive difference because you can go from
Oh, for
blazing
sure.
sunshine on a Saturday, playing on a Wednesday, and like
That's why Alvarez went to Spain.
yeah, he was like, "I'm getting out of this. This
Plus,
is
then
crazy.
even
I need
you've
to
got
know what
to-
I'm getting week on week." Yeah,
yeah, and I guess you've got to worry about like the smaller nuances as well. Like, I mean, I guess this is probably like quite naive of me, but I never really realized how much like transfers maybe take like a toll on like a family, right? Like when Harry Kane moved to Bayern Munich, right? Like his wife and his kids stayed here, so he had
That's
just
what
kind
happened
of
with
gone.
Skamaka. That's
Yeah,
what
so
Skamaka,
like it's things like that as well that you must think like, yeah, that's actually kind of crazy.
take-
Like
and
you're
facts.
just because you uproot your life does not mean everything else
family
important in
comes
your
with
life
it.
comes with you. Yeah, like
Right.
it must be
The
hard.
stress
for
of that
players.
must be quite difficult, and then everyone will counter that going, "Yeah, but he's getting 120 grand a week, so he can get a flight back and whatever else." And you can kind of go, "Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
still
but it's not quite that simple, is it?
mentally
Really? Yeah.
exhausting and physically and emotionally it must take a toll of you, especially coming into a country which is renowned for its language skills and being open to learning new languages."
Well, he's
right?
going to
So,
replace Arnold. It looks like because him and the coach aren't really.
I don't know what's going on there. That looks an
That's
interesting
crazy.
one.
If
Is
you can
this-
get, if
is
you
this
can get
actually a
Chiesa
thing?
though back to what Chiesa was,
if
and
we
he
get
can
it
be dominant for Italy again, then I'll be happy. I don't want to face you every week or almost every week, but I will be happy if you can get him back on track.
If we can
I'm
get it
just
back
saying,
pre-ACL,
yeah,
then
yeah,
we've got an absolute steal.
right.
If we end up getting another Thiago, where sometimes he flashes, but most of the time he ends up on the physio room. It's that sort of knife edge risk.
Mhm.
It's both.
And again,
it's a both, but I think it's a steal as of now, though. But everyone's got to play on the pitch, though. But yeah,
but the problem is, you look at it and you go, we don't need Chiesa. We need a left back. We need some
That's the thing.
central
You really don't.
midfielders, and we need some centre back.
Gakpo didn't even make any sense when you guys got him because you had Diaz already and Jota. So it's like, but now that's great. It looks good now. So
looks good now, but now we're
then
going to squeeze somebody else in and look at the midfield and go, huh? And then, as
I
you
don't know.
say, this rumbling of is Trent going to sign his new contract?
Probably not.
Where's he going to play?
Yeah.
Not now, after getting subbed, and and you can get it. It's like, hang on, it's week 1. You get subbed after 77 minutes. You're 2-0 up. Oh, sorry, week 2. 2-0 up. The game's done. He's pulling you off, saving your legs, getting Conor Bradley some minutes on the pitch. It all kind of makes sense, but it was a bit petulant, his response and his reaction. Nobody wants to see. I suppose. And the flip side is, as a fan, you don't want to see a player go off and go, "Yay, I got substituted." But
no.
You don't also want to see sulkiness, because that's childish and that looks petty, and it's like he has no right to a starting position every 90 minutes. No player in the Premier League does. You shouldn't be expected. Yes, you might be the best right back, right midfield, whatever hybrid position he plays. And I think that's the problem that we're currently finding with him, is he's too good to be a right back, but he's can't fit in the system that Arne Slot is playing just yet as a right defensive midfield. And I think potentially we may end up, Matty, you might be too young, but you might remember the Gerrard Lampard, 2 great players that couldn't play together because
could not work in the same team. Yeah.
And it is Trent going to end up having to go to somewhere else that will utilize his skill set in the best position, because Liverpool can't quite shoehorn him in with everybody else that we've got around. And
it's like Rodri going to Real Madrid, then you flip it, Arnold going to Man City. Like if that ever happens. But I think Guardiola can get the best out of him.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the worry though, right? Or not worry, but like I feel like Trent is such a like systematic player, right? Like under the Klopp, like he got some football out of that man that has like genuinely been ridiculous to the point where we've been
I mean-
contemplating whether he's potentially the best right back like the Premier League has ever seen. Like there was an argument for it at times.
I mean,
But
you
I
think about that
suppose-
game against, was it the game against Leicester, where he absolutely bossed the whole game
Mhm.
from the right back position, and that's like, what?
Yeah, which is
What?
not easy to
Stop.
do. And like, I've had moments like that when I've watched like Reece James when he's fit for like one game every year. But you have those moments where you're like, oh my god, like this is ridiculous. Like, how can somebody be playing at that level? But I suppose the problem is obviously Klopp has been there for so long, and he's really made Trent that household name. Like he is the reason he is that. And I suppose now him leaving after being there for so long, it's going to be a massive transition. But also, like you said, Gary, it's week 2. Like I know you're not going to be happy to come off. Of course you're not. You know, you're one of the biggest players in the world, right? And I don't think that's an exaggeration to say that, but it's week 2. Let's just calm down. Okay? Like a new manager has come in. I know it's a big transition. Of course it is. You know, it's a bigger transition at Liverpool because you guys actually have managers for a bit. I guess when it happens at Chelsea, it's just like, you know, saying goodbye to someone that's got off at a bus station. But you know, it is a big transition. I get there's probably going to be feelings of frustration. It's going to be weird, but it's not, you know, it's not just him that it's going to be weird for. It's the whole squad, right? There's a lot of adjustment that needs to happen. It's week 2. Let's all just calm down.
Yeah. And I think
Also, actually, no, it's nice to see someone else's team in meltdown. Panic. Everybody panic. Everything is terrible. Do it. Take the focus off my team, please.
Let's talk about the Caribou Cup, and then let's get to all the last games, and then we'll continue on. I think now for West Ham, I'll talk about the Caribou with Bournemouth. I think for me, I am 50-50 about this. I think we should have definitely just stayed a tie. I think that some of the new players played well. Kilman is becoming such a bargain now. It's only week 2.
Great player. I was surprised Wolves let him go, to be fair. I was really surprised.
Killing it, man. He's just killing it. And then Wamasaka. I mean, he is just phenomenal. I mean, I can't believe
I can't believe Man United let him go.
It's crazy, but I think we're still trying to find an identity, though. It's going to take some time. There's a lot of things we need to work on. I think for me, when it comes to new coaching, I know things take time and sometimes things just click. But I think the positives was Wan-Bissaka, I think Kilman, and then we eventually did get the goal when Bowen came in. But Somerville is just shifty. I love Somerville, what he can do coming off the bench. But the not so positives is lots of failed long balls, lack of pass accuracy. Folkberg just looks isolated from Dortmund. He just looks isolated at times for now. And then the new guy we got from Nice, and unfortunately Mavropanos, they just don't seem that convincing yet. It's got to take some time. Mavro, he's kind of on the bubble though, but right now it's still early days with Caribou, but it's
plus you guys are very much in like a transitional year right now, right? Like,
and we need to sell players. So we need to sell players because we overspent, and that tag for us going into next year is going to be very high, like debt wise. So we'll see.
And you're not getting past the next round in the Carabao Cup anyway.
I disagree. I think we're going to penalty. I'm kidding. Nah, it's gonna be a good game. I think we'll win though.
Yeah, you would say that, but you're not going to.
Oh, we're gonna win.
I'll tell you who is. No.
The deciding factor. One against one.
Tell you who is up for a massive shock to the system when Barrow come into Stamford Bridge and turn over the Chelsea 5th team.
No, mate, that would be a shock if Chelsea made it through. I'll tell you. No, it's. I'll tell you who is. Right. You listen to me, right? Wickham were at Swansea today. They've only gone and bloody beaten them, haven't they? Wickham are through in the Carabao Cup. Go on, the boys. I'm telling you, chair boys are making a cheeky Carabao Cup run. Let's go. Come on now.
Go for it.
Be afraid of the mighty chair boys. Yeah, no, other than that, yeah, Wolves are through, West Ham are through, Southampton are through, Newcastle are through, Wickham are through, Brentford are through. I guess we're just going through all these. Wimbledon are through, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, see Wimbledon who beat Ipswich. Ipswich. They beat
Yeah.
Ipswich AFC Wimbledon, so
But I don't know. I feel like for Ipswich, that's maybe not the worst thing in the world. Like I feel like when you've just got promoted to the Premier League, you kind of
last
want
thing you need is cup
that
games
to be
and
your thing,
stuff.
right? Yeah, like sack off everything else. That not that it doesn't matter. Of course it does. Like a cup run for teams can, change the outlook of a season entirely. But I feel like right now they just need to think, right, we're gonna have a hard enough time as it is staying up. Let's just focus on that. Nothing else matters right now. Like it's all secondary, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Watford, I think Watford will go in and turn City over.
Watford will have a new manager by then.
Probably, yeah.
Oxford have gone out. Yeah, I'm a happy man, mate. Life's good. Sorry, not letting personal biases come out, of course.
No,
I mean, could you have got an easier draw
That's
for
just your
Chelsea?
motto. Come on.
Spicy.
Oh, of course you got tea. Of course you got tea. What is that?
It's got to be done, mate. It's 11.
late.
It's 11
It's
o'clock.
late.
Yeah,
It's
come on.
late over here. You can't be having coffee at this time.
I need summit. Right, boys. Should we get on to the weekend games then?
Do it.
And
Should we look back or are we looking forward? What do we want?
yeah, should we have a
Say
quick
we
look
look back and then forward, to be honest.
back and
I
then
think we can. Ooh.
early kickoff on Saturday. Probably my favourite result of the weekend, other
What a
than obviously
result.
the Chelsea game.
What a result, right?
Brighton 2, United 1.
Get in. Danny Welbeck comes back to haunt his old team.
Man like
Yeah.
Welbs, he is one of those people.
Dude.
I distinctly remember a Chelsea Brighton game. I think it was when Tuchel was still in charge. And
Yeah.
I remember almost joking that they subbed on Danny Welbeck. And I was like, oh no, like Danny Welbeck's come on, we're in trouble now. You'll never guess who scored the equaliser. Like
Yeah,
he's just one of those players. He just keeps going. Like
Bro, I mean,
And
it's a perfect system for him. It's a perfect system for him, man.
What gets me about Danny Welbeck, he's only 26 or 27, and he feels like he's been playing for.
No. Danny Welbeck's an old man now,
He's he's much older than that.
You are correct. He has
been playing a long time. Yes.
Is he? He's 33. Is he? Okay,
I still remember when he was coming because where he came through at United as a youngster.
No,
right. Then he went to Arsenal. Didn't he?
He went to Arsenal. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say he was United as a youngster.
He's turning 34 this year.
Crikey. Yeah, Gary, you're right. He has been around for donkeys.
Oh yeah.
I
18,
remember.
right?
Yeah, when he was
when
he was bursting on the scene as this like
doesn't
kid.
he? Yeah.
Yeah, then
he's
went
never
to
quite
Arsenal.
lived up, has he? He's never quite lived up.
He hasn't lived up to that, yeah.
But every now and again, as you say, he turns up and he started the season flying for Brighton.
Yeah,
he's got the skills and he's got, he's just. I think the physique that he's got, he's never, he's the number 9 physique, tall, fast, whatever else, but he's never had that cutting edge. He's never, teams don't fear Danny Welbeck.
Yeah.
No, but I almost think that's the problem. Like I said, when he came on against us, I was like, oh god, it's Danny Welbeck, and then he like equalised against us. Like I feel like I feel like I said this about a team last week. I can't remember, but he's just quite unremarkable. Like you kind of totally underestimate him, and then he'll kind of just turn up and do a job. And I also feel like there's something to be said for like longevity. Like for him still to be doing this at 33, 34, for people still to be like underestimating him, thinking he's not going to do anything, and then he just pops up and does stuff. Like I kind of rate it, to be honest.
Yeah, but to be fair though, he's had a lot of bad coaching over the years when all of them were not that great. Man, Arsenal, and then I think he just finally found that bright spot with Brighton when De Zerbi was here, and now he's in France. But I think he's always been like relevant. But he's not the guy who's going to fear you until he scores. And it's like, oh, Danny Welbeck, hey, you're here. So it's like
until he makes you look
things,
silly, you will not worry about him. And then he'll do something. You're like, crap.
But he does get on a run though. And then he ends the run, then he goes back on it again, and then the injury hits, and then he's back on a run again. He's always been that type of player, but it's kind of good coming off the bench or when he starts. You kind of need that role. He's going to be 34. You need one of those role players like James Milner right now is with him. So, hey, hats off to Danny, though.
Absolutely. Rocking it. And Brighton now in the top 4, I think, aren't they? 2 wins from 2.
Top 4, correct.
Top 4. And then
Brighton
next
just
game
doing
on.
Brighton things.
Brighton doing Brighton things. And then the next game I've got on my list is the London Derby. I'm sure you were happy about, G. Your boys travelling down to Selhurst Park, trashing the advertising hoardings, almost killing a ball boy, and winning 2-0.
Away days done properly, right?
Wait, it's done properly by West Ham, right?
It's so funny. I mean, listen, I'm so happy that we won. Don't get me wrong, but it's just Suchek drives me insane, man. It's like he doesn't do anything the whole game. But that dude, just like me and the St. Louis Hammers, we have a fan club here that we watch all the games with every week at a pub here in St. Louis. And we just say it every time. He's always at the right place at the right freaking time. He will score somehow, some way. He could piss us off the whole game, right? And then he just does that. And it's like, all right, well,
give the ball
well,
away.
what are we? What are we going to say in this situation? But Wamensaka, he has just been phenomenal. Like when he came on, had that really great juke move and pass it to Bowen, and Bowen scores. It wasn't a perfect game. I think we should have won by a little bit more. And Crystal Palace came on too. It was very even until all that stuff happened. And then the ball boy, man, just wrong place at the wrong time for you, bud. Seriously. Yeah, no, it was a great win. It was a much needed win. I mean, we're going into Man City this week. So you never know. You never know, but
it was an important 3 points to get.
Yeah. If you really want to, like, 3 games in, if you want to, like, set yourself up to, like, make that stance, this is a kind of game where it's like, okay, you got to win or tie. I'll take either one.
You got to get a point out of that one. You know, it's a London derby. Palace is never that easy to go to, but getting a win there massively helps going forward, as you say.
It's big, yeah.
Right. We're still, but overall for West Ham, my final thoughts is we're still figuring everything out. Still figuring out the identity, still figuring out getting players in and players out. And once all the pressure's off, because it was reported a few days ago that the players are just so uncertain right now. There's a lot of uneasy tension. And I think that win versus Palace kind of is slowing down things because winning does cure everything. So it'll get better. We just need to get through this transfer window, and then hopefully everything just stays calm after that. But I am happy. Man City, though, let's see what happens.
See what happens with that one coming up. And then we have an interesting result.
Which one?
Yeah, I suppose.
Where is Gary going with this one?
Where is Gary going with this one?
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. So I've got to look at where is it gone? I had it in a second. And the Leicester game was an interesting one.
Bro, I keep telling y'all, Leicester and Vardy, man, you gotta watch out for him. That was a great game. That was a great game.
And Fulham, I don't know. I mean, Fulham are Fulham, right? They're going to do Fulham things. Emile Smith-Rowe, first game at home, scores. Obviously we knew he was going to be big for them after that transfer. Alex Iwobi is getting a winner.
Right.
What?
It's
another Danny Welbeck-ish player, yeah.
And that's Danny Welbeck-esque. Funny. Arsenal bounced around to Everton, looks the part on for 20 minutes every 6 months. There you go. And Leicester, unfortunately, I think Vardy was subbed off that game or something, or was struggling. So not great.
To be expected, though, right? My man's in his mid-30s now. As incredible as it was watching him crack a Red Bull at halftime and then score the equaliser against Tottenham, prime football heritage,
and especially the way he was then substituted off and sent a subtle message to the Tottenham fans. I thought was beautiful.
he dealt with that one very nicely, actually.
Yeah, very lovely, very beautiful. But yeah,
Jamie Vardy, very polite man.
We love Jamie Vardy for his non-league roots come through at times, don't they? But yeah,
yes.
I think a Fulham home win was probably always to be expected. Yeah, as you say, a tough sort of start to life in the Premier League for Leicester. Talking of tough starts to life in the Premier League, Ipswich poked the bear, I think, was the problem here.
Because they did go 1-0 up, I believe, right?
1-0 up in very short space of time. First sort of 10 minutes, I think they got a break. Great pass, great goal. Nothing wrong with it. Everyone was like, well, but a problem with that is it did seem like it just annoyed the City team. And for 20 minutes, they just went, no. This is the Premier League for you. and battered them for 20 minutes. They went 3-1 up. They kind of took a good foot off the gas towards, second half and whatever else. But for that period when Ipswich scored, and I was in Dublin, but I was watching it on a big screen in the sports bar at the time. City just went, no, just wait, what? No, penalty decision was a little bit. It didn't turn the game because it was the right decision, but I think it did. I think it really knocked the confidence of the Ipswich players because they went 1-0 up and they were flying. Yeah. And then a penalty was given against them, and unfortunately, it was pretty much a penalty. It was a stone wall. He stood on his foot inside the box, and you could see, like from that moment, for the next 15 minutes, Ipswich had gone. Yeah. And unfortunately, within those 10-15 minutes, City had scored 3 goals.
Yeah, I just think of all the teams you don't want to help get their foot in the door, you'd probably say that City would probably be the team. Like they probably don't
want to give them a freebie. Yeah, you don't need to give them a freebie. Yeah.
And I also feel like at that point it's like shark has smelt blood in the water, right? Like once you've given them one, you're finished. Like they're gonna have you. Yeah, I always feel like it's a tough one to like know how to approach City or like big games like that. I always feel like it was an FA Cup final years ago. I remember I watched it around my friend's house. It was like Hull Arsenal. I think Hull went like 2-0 up within like 5 minutes or something. It was like really early. And I remember obviously just being the Chelsea hater that I am. I was like, yes, go on Hull. Like we're Hull fans for the day. And at the time I was like, oh, buzzing. There's no way they can lose this now. And then I was like, oh, they've got 85 minutes to get it back though. So almost going ahead that early is not always like ideal because then you've got the whole game for them to bring it back. Not that City needed it. Like you said, they turned it on. And I like Ipswich. And when everybody's talked about this, I fancied them to stay up. But that was tough. That was an onslaught they faced.
Yeah. Nah, they ain't staying. I still think they're not going to stay up. I think it was only a matter of time Man City was going to turn on. I mean, they always have slow starts anyway. They always do. They always turn on it at the end of the first half, and then the second half they just bully you. So it's like it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, and for Ipswich, 2 of the toughest league fixtures that they had to get out of the way early. Hopefully, they've got a bit of a chance. Next game, I think, is at home to Fulham. So that
I feel like almost if you're Ipswich now, you kind of just think like, right, you know what? Those 2 games are done. The league season starts now. Like, forget those. It's done.
You look at that starting 2 weeks, and you go, we ain't getting anything out of that. Let's not get hammered.
If we get something
not let 6
cool,
or 7 against us.
If not, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
fair play. They
starts now
for a bit, like the first game with you guys too with Liverpool. Fair play to that, but still.
Home game, they kept it tight for the first half and whatever else. But yeah, I think as you say, from an Ipswich point of view, those 2 games are done. Season starts now. You were never expecting to get anything out of that. Home game against Fulham is probably the first time they were looking at, hey, that's our first chance.
That's doable. Yeah.
That's doable. Let's get some of the new signings, in. Let's see what we've got. Let's go from that point on because, they got a goal at City. They looked the part. Must say their kit looked nice as well. That away kit that Ipswich got is a very nice away kit. However,
plus points, nice away kit.
Yeah, style points. Style points are important. Relegation 6-pointer. Forest managing to get the win away at Southampton. I think.
Yeah, that could be a big result already.
Could be a big result longer term, and then it's crazy to be already thinking that some games like this are going to have that sort of impact later down the line. But I think this is one of those ones that you'll look back on and go, Forest might stay above Southampton by 2 points, and it could be this game that's done that.
They're going to regret this, I think, because it was one of those things they should easily won. Like they were handling the ball well, smoothly, everything was going right, and for the 1-0, like I'm over here, like, I mean, I'm glad you got 3 points, right? That's important at the end of the day, but man, I expected a lot more. I just expected a lot more. So it is.
And like goal difference could be important come the end of the season as well, right? Like you said, like a win is a win, and obviously points on the board is never a bad thing. But yeah, should they have to rely on goal difference, this could be one of those results that like now
really that Ramsdale's coming in, it's like they dodged a big bullet.
Yeah. Could be interesting times down there. Could be interesting times. And then where did he go? Oh, talked about it last week. Already called them that they were going down. Already the weakest team.
Yeah,
Absolutely
but Tottenham picked up a win.
thumped.
They
Tottenham
didn't even
take
need
the win.
Solanke. They didn't even need Solanke. It's not good over there.
It's not good. It's not good. It's not good on the other side of Stanley Park. It's looking dreadful. I mean, at the bottom of the league, 7 goals against already, not looking like they're able to lay a glove on anybody. It doesn't look good. Doesn't look good for Everton. Tottenham look like they're still not missing Harry Kane. Not really missing that number 9.
No, they haven't lost a
Solanke
beat.
in.
I feel like this is just the start. To be honest, it is Tottenham. We all know, like, it ends eventually. But dude, they got a great lineup. Damn, they got a great lineup.
Yeah, when you look through, the numbers are there, aren't they? It's a good squad that they've got there, but got to watch. I mean, I think Tottenham will be top 4 come the end of the season if they carry on like this and Solanke can slot in and start to put some goals in. If Solanke adds 10, 15 goals, that's kind of all they really need. I mean, I know Harry Kane used to score by the bucket
way more than that.
Way more than that, yeah. But they spread it around with Son, Romero, a few others chip in, and Solanke chips in with 10, 15. They'll be absolutely fine. Everton, I mean, you look at it and you think they need to get some help in there.
This is literally what I'm trying to look at right now. Is
who else can they get? And then you got to get a decent manager who knows the ins and outs of relegation battles. Get Sean. Oh, they've got Sean Dyche already.
Yeah, that's the tough thing, is when you've got almost like an expert like Sean Dyche in the dugout already, and it's already not looking this good. Yeah, I mean, even looking at the
go get Graham Potter.
Ooh.
Go get Graham Potter or call Moyes.
Big Moisey. He's wanting him back in.
Big Moisey back to Everton.
I don't know. I
to
mean,
be fair, Moyes at Everton was absolute vibes. Like, they were a nasty team under Moyes. You did not want to play them.
Yeah. Especially when Ancelotti was there. It was nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like I said, even just looking at like the business that Everton have done, like they've made a couple of signings, but when you've made 6 signings, one of them is just calling an under-21s goalkeeper up to the first team, and another is a free transfer of Asmir Begovic from QPR to yourselves.
It's not.
That's not inspiring.
I don't know.
It doesn't.
They need to figure it out quicker rather than later.
Yeah, because I feel like, like we said with like the whole West Ham situation, when you're in that transition, getting a win under your belt always makes things better.
For sure.
The longer this streak goes on of not just losing games, they're quite comfortably getting put away, right? So at this point, you'd be like, maybe they would even just take a draw to be like, cool, that's something, right? But the longer this goes on, like, the rot is going to set in. Like, it's just going to keep going, and it's not going to get better just like that. So it feels like they need something quick.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's scary times.
All right.
I mean, they've got home. I think they're home to Bournemouth next game.
Yeah,
they are indeed. Yes,
you look at that going, should win, but
it's doable. But just how honking they've been at the start.
That's it. It's that they can't have any sort of confidence or anything. They have been absolutely dreadful. Bournemouth have, picked up 2 points. So I can't see that they're going to be. Yeah, I don't know. I think Bournemouth might be favoured for that one, especially after the start. So it could be that's one of the games, from an Everton point of view.
What's up, Peaches? Forest fan. Peaches is live in the chat.
Yeah.
He's part of the Batter Network. Very good guy. Big Forest fan. Great chopping it up with him. Yeah, we just talked about Forest. I think you guys should have won more but
Yeah.
win's a win, buddy.
A win is a win. Never a bad
is a
thing.
win.
Never a bad thing.
You do take the 3 points, but yeah, you had the better opportunities there, so you might have missed a trick in terms of
Yeah.
your goal difference, as we said.
Right. And Caribou Cup, didn't they win?
They went through on penalties, I think, didn't they?
Yeah.
This evening, I think.
A win is a win.
Sorry,
Win's a
Forrest.
win.
No, they didn't. They lost on penalties. Apologies, they went out.
Never mind.
Never mind. I'm so sorry, Peaches.
Sorry about that. But it was a Premier League. It wasn't like an upset. What he just said. Newcastle on pens took into penalties.
I also, I don't think losing to Newcastle is like the biggest shame.
That's still like a big achievement just to take them to penalties too, in my opinion.
Mate, if Chelsea took Newcastle to pens, I'd say that was a good day. That's a good day at the office. Jeez. 4 debuts, 10 changes. So essentially playing our B team. Played Willow against a team that's in Champions League last year. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a fair way of looking at it.
Silver linings already there.
Totally fair.
Totally looking at it from a very
is that a reasonable football fan?
Balance. Wow.
No, Peaches has always got some good takes. I listen to him very, very well in all of our chats. So he's very level headed. I respect it.
Like that. And then the last result as of Saturday, before we get into the Sunday results, Arsenal comfortable winners against Villa, which I thought I had to take as a draw.
I hated every minute of it, to be honest.
Hated every minute
to just unleash.
Get in, kick them up, do some, get in their faces. But my God, did Arsenal look comfy there?
I don't know. I mean,
statement
that's
win.
The thing.
Too early to say that. Too early to say statement win, but.
No, I just think this is just business as usual. I don't think it's a statement win until they reach Brighton. I think Brighton's going to be more of a statement win, in my opinion. Because if you can knock off a top 4, top 5 team, especially if Brighton's playing too, I still think this is kind of like it was just a good game for both of each other. But you got to keep it consistent. Week in, week out. Now, when they face against Villa later on, then it's going to be more of a statement win, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's valid. I think like we said, it's a statement victory from the prospect of from the perspective of they've come so close twice, but they have still they've got this season started and they're just motoring on as if nothing has happened, and that is hard to do, to keep picking yourselves back up. Like, again, I know we've already spoken about this last week, but. Yeah, totally agreed. Also, at the same time, it is only 2 games in the season. If they had have lost this one to Villa, good result for Villa, not the end of the world, right? It's only 2 weeks in. Like you said, Gino, I think the statement thing will be keeping this up, taking the fight to presumably City. Like, obviously Liverpool have looked good so far, but new manager, things could change. I don't really have faith in Tottenham. I have absolutely no faith in Chelsea. So presumably we're going to assume that's going to be the most likely title fight. So the statement will be the consistency in keeping it going again.
I agree.
Yep, that's all good. Right, and then we move to Sunday's games. Where do we start there? Obviously Liverpool at home to Brentford. A professional. I mean, it was interesting, there was a lot of talk after the game of like, it was one of those, it was a very Man City sort of game.
Mm-hmm.
Never really in doubt, never really under pressure, never really on the edge of your seats. Quite comfortable at 1-0, definitely comfortable at 2-0. Game was done and dusted. So, it was one of those odd games from a Liverpool fan of not being on the edge of your seat, not going behind, not having to come back, not having the frenzy of attack. Oh, you need to get a goal. So I guess
I know what you mean. Sometimes it's almost weird feeling comfortable in a football game, right? Like, because you feel like you shouldn't be feeling like that.
Yeah. And maybe it's, as you say, that transition, new manager. This is a new style, very possession based. This is what's going to happen. But we're so used to the
rock and roll football.
Let's go up and down. They score, we score 2, you score another one. You never.
Yeah, we'll just outscore you, type jobby.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Whereas this is like, this is it. Possession football. We score the goal, kill the game, get another goal, done, get out. And maybe it's just a time to get used to that. So, and Brentford, as we talked about, plucky. They're always going to be there and thereabouts. 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, 4 goals scored. move on. No injuries. Everyone's happy.
Happy days, right?
Utah should have won like 4-0 though. In
Should
my
have been.
opinion.
Should
I
have.
mean,
Come
on.
put.
But still, it was a
Yeah.
good game. It was a great game. I love Peach's comment. She said, "Wouldn't know. Never felt comfortable." Hey, I get that. I can relate so much to that.
Yeah. You'll get there, Peaches. Though you'll get there if Forest can get that sort of stability we talked about. Then
For
give it
sure.
a season or two. You'll not be constantly watching between your fingers and hiding behind the sofa when things get a little bit ropey.
Facts. I agree with
You
that.
know, Forest need to be back in a Premier League for a long time. They're a huge
The
club.
Premier
They're my
League's been a better
second
place
favorite
with them
team.
in it.
They're my second favorite team because of the history. I love the history. I love the stadium. I love all the documentaries, and I think that especially them out of all the championships, Swansea and Forest, in my opinion.
Swansea is an interesting one. Because until quite recently, I feel like I was probably quite a naive football fan, and I never understood why everyone was getting so excited when like the thought of Leeds coming back up was happening. And like, just to me, that didn't click. And I was like, oh, well, I guess in my experience of watching football, I could never, like, I've never known Leeds being like a consistent Premier League team, right?
Yeah,
so I was like, oh, like,
Leeds,
why?
That's true.
Why would it matter them being there? But then all of a sudden, when they were there, it did feel different. Like it added something. I was like, wow, okay, yeah, this isn't just any team that we've, this isn't just some random team that's come up. Like, let's use Wickham for an example, right? That season they got up into the Championship, obviously massive for us, and the whole town of Wickham was like, oh my god, this is mad. Right. But also, as like a whole country, everyone's gonna be looking at me like, who the hell are these guys? So when some of the smaller teams come up to the Premier League, sometimes you probably are going to get those fans that like, who is it? Like Luton last year. But the amount of people that are probably like, who the fuck are those guys, right? Like not nobody, but a lot of people aren't going to know. So when you get these teams like Leeds and especially, teams like Forest as well, it is different. So yeah, the league's definitely been better since they've come back up. So fingers crossed, it'll get good.
For sure. Now, all right, Chelsea Wolves. Talk to me, Matty.
Go for it, Matty. This is all on you.
Mate, it's just
good if I were you. I would feel good if I were you.
My team won a game of football, guys. Come on now. That's what are we doing? Yeah,
I don't know. You tell us,
mate. I don't know. I do not know. We'll have a whole new squad by next match day, so it doesn't matter.
That's true. That's true.
No, I mean I'm happy. 6 goals is never a bad thing, and for it actually looked like no valid. Honestly, a lot of the time when I see who we're up against, I just automatically start supporting them. Like I just kind of want us to fail at this point in a weird sort of way. But yeah, in a weird we actually looked like a cohesive team, which I thought when Poch went, because obviously at the end of last season we actually really started looking like, oh my god, we got something going. And I thought when he left, as I said, we're finished. Like it's gone again. So to actually see us play like a team for a game felt nice. That was good, and I thought, cool, okay, that's nice. But yeah, I think I'm just living the Chelsea experience right now. I just have the existential dread that next week we will be absolutely honking. I suppose the only solace I can take is obviously City beat us on the opening day, but we didn't look awful. We did look a bit toothless, which is pretty standard, but we didn't look horrendous. So that's 2 games we've played okay. The first game we've played pretty well on Sunday rather. So dare I say I'm feeling good, but I'm pretty sure whenever I say that we get absolutely spanked. So.
I mean, I don't know if it was just one of those odd ones where
everything just clicked.
Madueke obviously had a bit of a faux pas. I think on social media he kind of put something out there about. I can't remember exactly the wording. I didn't quite see it, but I don't believe it was particularly.
I think I have it on my Twitter somewhere. I don't think he was overly complimentary to the city of Wolverhampton. I think Wolverhampton was the point.
Yeah, I think it was something along that line. So every time he got anywhere near the ball, he was booed.
Right.
So maybe the Wolves Eagles fan.
It was only on his Instagram story for like a minute, but obviously anyone that has been on the internet, that is long enough.
Yeah,
A minute's long enough on the internet, but I believe
That is
it
more
was
than long enough. The internet got their hold of that,
I
and
can't put.
finished
I
ever
won't
since.
put that up on the screen.
Peaches agrees with you. It's a shit
Peaches
show.
agree-
It's a shit
okay.
hole.
I
Sorry.
mean, I wasn't going to put it on the screen, but hey, Gina's just
Hey.
going to read it out.
Oh,
so,
sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with her here though. That one, the shocking, that he's got it together this quickly.
Yeah, it's especially like considering, I always know
He's
with
changing with the rotating sort of squad that he must walk out onto the training ground with every day.
literally.
You?
But I also feel like
right,
you can't. I always find it. I know it's hard not to, but you always, I guess, try not to read too much into preseason. But our preseason went pretty historically badly. Like our preseason was not good.
Right.
So coming into the season, that was very much like, oh god, like we're in trouble here. Like nothing against Wrexham, but we should be pretty comfortably beating them. And again, I know it's preseason, so we're not taking it overly seriously, I'd imagine. But we only got a draw from that game. So when that happens, you're like, okay, that's all right. Okay. So yeah, to be sat here having scored 6 goals in a game, 2 game weeks in, I will absolutely take that. But like I keep saying, we'll just have to see what on earth steps off that team bus next week, because this result is good, cool, happy. Now I'm just stressed about next week. That's all it is.
And then
you're on the upswing of the roller coaster.
Yeah, I've had my moment, and now I'm back to being okay. Now what? I'm living that football fan life.
Better next.
Living the football life. That's what it's all about.
I think the Bournemouth and Newcastle game, the last one, I think it was a very even game. Shockingly, like I thought Newcastle was going to win like 3-1. Very even game. I mean, it was a great game to watch all the way to the end, and then a tie. So it was. I don't know.
And Bournemouth should really have won it, because that last VAR one was a little bit dubious.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I'll take it back.
Yeah, I mean,
VAR does VAR things. I feel like Bournemouth are quite a plucky team, Like I feel like I kind of don't
especially
think
Kepa coming in now. Now they got a goalie.
Yeah, Kepa could be the move. Because even if you want to sub him off, he will just say no. So he's always a fun guy to have in the locker room. Yeah, I think they're quite a plucky team. Like I feel like it kind of went under the radar how well they did last season when their new manager came in. They finished like 11th or something, didn't they?
Yeah, there was surprising. I mean, there were some really bad teams which helped them
massively, but I feel like they were a sneaky good team last year. So, but yes, agreed. There were some.
Correct.
Yes, the technology is good. The people that use it are very, very stupid. I think.
I agree with this statement.
And last year there was Alex Simpson is a friend of ours on Sports Mag. He does the NFL show, but he is also a qualified referee at lower levels, and he did a little VAR slot on a previous thing. And he's of the opinion that VAR should be set to very specific. So the VAR team should work with the same referee week in, week out, and you should roll around so you get used to working with the same teams, etc. And if you're on VAR, you're on VAR. You're not on VAR this week and refereeing next week, and you're not doing assistant lineman, assistant referee the week after, so that you get better at using the system. You understand the nuances and stuff like that. There was an interesting
consistency as well, right?
And that's what he says. That's what that would bring if you have the same guys working with the same referee every week, same team. You get the VAR. So it's like the fourth officials. You get the referee and the assistant lineman, the assistant referees, and the fourth official. They're all a team. They all travel. They all play. You always do the same games together. Why not have that linked to the same VAR team? Don't know how it would work, whether or not numbers or whatever else, but that would help to beat consistency, because it is the consistency that kills VAR. The technology is there, but then it's that open-ended, still a little bit of human interaction, human error, human, whatever it is, opinion comes into it going, we think this was this, rather than it clearly states, it clearly hit his arm and therefore it's an offside, or therefore it's handball. Some of it is a bit contentious, and the way that they ask the referee, we think this and that and the other, it's sometimes a bit too black and white when it doesn't need it. I think a lot of the VAR decisions, when their footballing decisions. It happens in the speed of the game, but when you watch it on VAR and it's really slowed down, yes, it looks like it's it sometimes looks really bad.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, right? Like everything looks worse slowed down. Like if you'd slowed down, I don't know, like if you just watch someone walking in the street, you'd be like, what a nice normal walk. Like if you slowed it down, you'd be like, God, that posture is horrendous. Or you'd notice something, right? Like if anything is slowed down, it looks dreadful. Like of course it does. If you analyze it frame by frame, you're like, God, he could have snapped his ankle. And you're like, yes, but this incident happened over like 0.002 of a second. Like like in the grand scheme of things, how is it fair to criticize stuff that?
And in a contact sport as well, which is based around physicality, based around speed and whatever else. Some of these guys are running really fast. We talked about Troy Ore and stuff, bodybuilder, size of that guy. But when he's running at speed,
he gone.
Yeah, he gone, right? You nudge him in the wrong direction just and he's off balance. Yes, he's going to sprawl and go flying and whatever else. And you look that and you slow that down on VAR, it probably looks terrible. But really, it was a shoulder charge, which is perfectly legal and is still allowed in this day and age. It's just as an example. But VAR, as you say, great technology, slightly misused and slightly.
That's probably a whole podcast in itself, really, isn't it?
Massively. It's definitely an in-depth. Let's delve into who and how VAR should be improved. Wow. That's one for future. But yes, Bournemouth, unlucky, plucky. 2 points from 2 games. I think they'll be quite happy with that.
That's not a bad start. That's not like it's a long old season. Like 2 points, 2 games. That's not bad.
And then we look forward to this weekend. Nothing on Friday.
Yeah, Chelsea going to lose.
It's already started. Early games, I think, is a cracker. Early game should be a cracker.
Yeah.
Oh,
Arsenal and
Brighton. Wow.
Brighton flying high after.
So is Arsenal flying high.
Yeah, as much as I absolutely hate to admit it, I like Brighton and I like what they're doing, but I struggle to see Arsenal not winning that. Like they look
3-1.
So
I think it's gonna be 3-1 Arsenal.
I hate it. It pains me to say it, but God, they look frightening.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be 3. I think it's going to be one of those, as we just talked about the Liverpool game. It'll be a 2-0 win. It'll be nothing. There'll be no ups and downs. They'll nullify Brighton by just possession-based, just barely giving them the ball.
Right.
So that it just becomes like, oh yeah, we're just going to score a couple of goals, finish this off. Brighton will huff and puff, but they won't get as much as the ball as they got against United, and therefore won't have the opportunity to kind of be dangerous on the counter attack or be dangerous going forward, because they just won't see the ball enough. I think that's what I can foresee there. So almost a dull 1-0 to the Arsenal kind of old style, but just from that pure possession based 2-0. Thank you very much. Job done. Get out.
I think so. Yeah. All right, then it's Forest.
Or as Peaches says.
Yeah, Forest.
No, that's true.
Forest versus SL. Yeah. Peaches, how are you feeling? I'm sure we'll discuss this in a minute. How are you feeling against Wolves? I can see it's been a bit of a tight one. I feel like Wolves are in a bit of a weird spot right now. I feel like they've lost quite a lot this window.
But surely it's like a wounded bear, right? They've just had 6. They just got thumped. They don't want. They're gonna have to. The manager's gonna be like, show me what response, whatever else.
Yeah, they just got beaten by another mid-table team. They're gonna want to bounce back here. They're not gonna be happy with this.
I think they are. I really do think they are. I have faith in Forest right now. I think it's 2-1.
Okay.
That's awesome.
This is just a fan experience.
Loving it. Get a point. I'll be happy. Yeah, but there you go, Wolves.
What reasonable football fan? This has been nice. This has been nice.
Nice. Peaches, please come back, because we need that level-headed. We need that level-headed.
We do. Yeah, I feel like Gary and Geno are quite up their own teams, and I'm so anti my own team that nobody even knows if I support them anymore. It's really a wild.
It's really true. I don't even know. You're like a fair weather fan. You're a fair weather fan.
Not even fair weather.
My relationship with Chelsea has always been very weird. Going off on a mild tangent, I don't know if anyone remembers back to the days when the Super League was announced. That was a good time.
Oh God,
that went well for a few days, didn't it?
So I was heavy in my Twitch streamer era at that point, and I'd recently got into playing Football Manager. Now I designed my Football Manager fella to be this really, really fat guy wearing like a neon yellow suit with like really long hair, massive beard, and I made it my Twitter profile picture. And I remember Chelsea were going to play Brighton that weekend, and I even tweeted saying I hope Brighton beat Chelsea because we're deeming them as not good enough to play us. Anyway, my tweet ended up in a Daily Mail article. So I was scrolling through this Daily Mail article, and there was just my Football Manager guy in his neon yellow suit sat there reading out this tweet. And I was like, I hope they don't think that's what I actually look like. I was like, God. So yeah, my relationship with Chelsea is very historied and normally quite hateful. Anyway, let's move on. Leicester Villa, interesting game. I think Villa are going to get it done.
4-0.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I love Leicester.
At the King Power, though.
I think Villa's going to bounce back. They're just going to. I think they're pissed. I think they got to put some anger out on somebody.
Well, fair. I suppose they probably wouldn't have wanted to lose to Arsenal. I suppose, would they?
No, anybody would be pissed off to lose against Arsenal and then have a like a lower table team, middle table team to beat up on.
Yeah, I can see it.
I love Leicester. I want Leicester to do well, but right now I just don't think odds are in their favor this game.
No, may the odds be ever in their favor, but I don't think they are for this one. But I think at the King Power, yeah, I know I've just thrown in a random Hunger Games.
Oh my God. I love I know.
Well,
I'm sorry, Peaches. I'm sorry, Peaches.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. I think you're right. I think Villa probably take this, but I don't think 4-0. I don't think so. That's
like what, 2-3?
I think maybe a 2-0 win. Again, one of those, get comfortable, probably a lot of changes in the late second half and messes the game up.
Okay. All right.
Peaches is not a Leicester fan.
Yeah, she loves Cooper. she loves Cooper, yeah.
Oh yeah, Steve Cooper's in charge. I keep forgetting he
used to be Forest fan. He used to be Mr. Forest, didn't he? Yeah. And then we've already talked about it briefly. Ipswich at home to Fulham.
Right.
I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Ipswich 3, Fulham 1. Bang.
Whoa. I think Fulham 2-1. I'm thinking Fulham 2-1.
Okay, and I'll go down the middle. I'll keep it nice and calm, realistic, like Peaches says. This will be a 1-1 draw at home.
I knew he was going to say that.
Keep that fence nicely between the cheeks there, Gary.
That's it. Splinters are already
close to the edge.
Yeah, I know. I'm really backing them, but I just fancy them. I feel like they're such a plucky little team, and maybe it won't kick on this weekend again.
The question is, I suppose, that this might change depending on if the new part owner is in town to give them that little lift and maybe give them a sing-song at half time. But I still reckon this is the chance that they get a point. They get their first point of the season, but I don't think they get their first win just yet.
No,
but it kind of rights the ships and gets them off and running.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing, especially as a newly promoted team, right? You just want to get off zero. If only, could you imagine?
Get the first point. Yeah, that's it. I mean, you get off 0 so that you're not there sitting there going into the next month and whatever else.
Exactly.
Speaking of teams getting nil points, Everton at home to Bournemouth.
Oh, Bournemouth 2-0.
Easy.
Yeah, call it a day.
Easy. Wrap it up.
2-0. It's gonna be boring first 15 minutes when they go up 2-0 in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So
literally, Everton shoot themselves in the foot with like the mad panic. I can see it, right? Because they're going to panic because they've been so bad. They're at home. The crowd are going to be frenetic because they're desperate to get.
And I love Dyche. Like Peach said, I really am a big fan of Dyche. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it sucks. It's sorry for them.
Dyche should go. Sean Dyche should go back to Burnley, bring Burnley back to the Premier League, just like he's supposed to have done. But unfortunately, was way too soon when he got Burnley into the Premier League. He was
And
he
they gave it
already
to company, right? They gave it to company.
they gave it to company. He then got back
Yeah.
up again too soon, and then completely shot himself in the foot by continuing to play the same way they played in the Championship, which never works. But at least Sean Dyche, when he brought Burnley up, knew he had to kind of go to old school.
He did so well with
British
such an
striking.
underfunded squad as well.
So,
Like
so well.
Yeah.
the amount he did with the amount of investment that was put in should be studied. Like that man did bits at Burnley.
Yeah.
So go back to
yeah,
Burnley,
I would love to disagree
you're
with you,
gonna
but yeah, I think this could be a rough one for Everton. Like I know it's already been quite rough, but
Oh yeah.
I think
this I
It's
think
not
is
going
going
to
to
be like a 4-0 game. I think it's just going to be 2. I think they're just going to.
but it's going to be a comfortable 2-0
right
to Bournemouth, and that will almost be worse.
yeah, like not
Bournemouth aren't like expected to be miles ahead, but I think they're
Right.
going to be so comfortably,
Yeah.
ahead of here, like 2-0 done, dusted, not even, a
No, like we
competitive
said, I mean,
start.
Bournemouth are a sneaky good team. Like I know we've already said that, but I feel like if even they comfortably beat you, then you're kind of like, okay.
Okay, this is
Now
where
we're in
we're
trouble.
at.
Yeah.
Now we are in real trouble, and they're going to be looking.
So like Brentford and Southampton, I think this is going to be another 2-0 Brentford win.
Yep.
My opinion.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I think Brentford. I mean, I know we spoke about transfer ages ago. I think Brentford needs to figure out what's going on with Ivan Toney and get that sorted.
They need to get that saga behind them and then
Yeah.
move on. And I think they will. I think it's coming close. I really do.
I think they're a well-run team. I think whatever happens, they'll sort it. And I think Thomas Frank has that dressing room behind him no matter what. So I don't see it being a problem.
Great coach.
But right now, it is just a distraction.
Just
I think
it's
they
a
just need to figure
story,
out
isn't it?
whether if he's staying, which I think is highly unlikely at this point. If he's coming to Chelsea, in which case, can we just still use a bit of your dressing room for a bit? I don't think we can fit him in. Or whether he's going to Saudi, like whatever's happening, they need to just get it.
Or Chelsea.
He goes to Chelsea, he'll have to go back. He'll have to loan him back to Brentford just to get changed.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I feel some person dislike them, but Frank Goodman. Yeah, I don't think you can dislike Thomas Frank. Like, does anyone not like Thomas Frank?
I love.
He just seems like such a cool guy.
He just seems, and he's also so kind of down to earth about things. He doesn't strike you as a Premier League manager, does he? He's kind of like he's living life. He's having a great time. He's probably in a division that he didn't expect to be in, doing well.
I just feel like I know it's the most English analogy for anything, but it just seems like the kind of guy you could go for a pint with, and I feel like that's
for sure.
That's a big deal. Like you could go for a couple of drinks.
I feel like that with Steve Cooper. I feel like that with Steve Cooper. I would love to go for a beer with Steve Cooper.
He would be amazing to go, and I feel like that.
The thing is, you would not go for one beer with Steve Cooper.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, it would go a long.
But that means you've gone for one beer appropriately. If it doesn't go wrong, you've not done it right. I would say.
All right, so Chelsea versus Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace 2-0. Right, West Ham City.
You know what? Hold on. Is that your final take, Crystal? That's your final.
Oh God,
because I'll make it quicker for my game if you.
The thing is, I just feel like it could be one of those games where if someone was like Chelsea win 4-0, I'd be like, yeah, I could see us turning up and maybe doing that. If someone was like Palace would win 4-0, I'd be like, yeah, I could see us turning up and completely capitulating, and I could see that happening. Like I really don't know.
Right.
Why not? We've lost 1-1. Let's just go 2-2. We don't seem to be able to keep a clean sheet, which feels very us. And I feel like we'll just stabilize it with a nice 2-2. Let's go with that. I'll go for a draw.
Hot take right here. Hot take. Chelsea versus Crystal. I think it's going to be. I really do think Chelsea's going to win, but it's going to be 1-0.
Real underdog story, like that.
I think what I saw from last week, they just, when you win a game, you determine your own future for the next game, like every game, but like they look together. They looked good. So like Crystal's always tough to face against. Don't get me wrong, but I think this is Chelsea's game. I don't know why. I don't know why I got that in my stomach right now. 1-0 Chelsea.
I just don't know how much faith I have with us keeping it together. Like, yeah, we did look good, but I just
Peaches 100% agree. Palace does need a win, but I don't see it against Chelsea. I think Chelsea's going to win this 1-0.
Yeah, I think you're right. I totally agree with that. Yeah, Palace are desperate to get a win.
They are desperate,
as well.
IU too. Like they're desperate right now.
Yeah. But after Chelsea's flying high now, after that, Wolves,
They are
destroying. So I can't see it happening there. It's going to have to wait. Unfortunately, I think maybe the week after, home to Leicester, that's probably more chance for them to get on the board.
right.
Newcastle Tottenham should be an absolute blinder of a game. It's in Newcastle though, so you got to favour the Toonami there at home.
Nah, 2-2 tie. 2-2.
Ooh. To be fair, I don't hate
this is going to be a trap game for both teams.
It's a game that neither want to win and neither want to lose, but
neither want to win. Just turn up and park the bus. Yeah,
just like nobody.
Yeah, I can very much see that happening. I can see this being a very
2-2.
tense. Like, right, boys, let's make no one look stupid here. And end up walking over the draw. Sorry, Gene. I think we did mildly skip over because we've got two beefy games left, and Gary, we'll leave your big boy for last. But West Ham City.
West Ham City? Oh, 4-2. Move on. City. Yeah.
4-2 to West Ham.
I thought you're going to call West Ham there as the West Ham.
No. City's gonna. We're still trying to. Guys, we're still figuring things out. Like seriously, like we still have more transfers coming in, getting out. We're not gonna have an identity until after this transfer window's over. So it's gonna be. We got to figure it out, like literally, and that's why I think City is flying high right now, and I think they're just gonna catch us. They're just going to catch us right now. I think we will score 2 goals, though. I really have confidence that Kudus this is the game that Kudus scores his first goal, and
nice.
I do think Bowen is going to score. But yeah, they're gonna. Haaland will have a hat trick, and then De Bruyne will get a goal.
Haaland and Savinho, that'll do me in my fantasy team. But I think City will be comfortable, and then you'll probably get a couple of late consolation goals. I don't think it will be goals that are in and amongst, making
exactly. Just like Peaches just said. I agree, 100%. Yeah,
absolutely. But this is a City win with maybe, as you say, West Ham probably still fighting to the end, getting a couple of goals late on to make it more respectable on a scoreline type of front. But I think, as you say, at least a 3-4-1 or 4-2. Something.
Hot take though, and it's in the stat sheet. Not a hot take. It's in the stat sheet. Haaland does not play well against us in the first half. So second half is
West
really
Ham are one of those teams though. Like even
Haaland will come, but in the first half and then even the middle of the second half, he doesn't get started. I mean, we box him in pretty well. But here's the thing that I had a problem with Moyes, Gary and Matty. What lineup is going to be out there? It was the same one the last 2 weeks. That's what's going to pinpoint it. This game is what lineup's going to be set.
Yeah, valid. I do feel like West Ham are one of those teams though. Like, because I always remember even when Chelsea were actually a coherent football team, and we were like, yeah, beat them. And then you'd see West Ham on the calendar, be like, Like even when West Ham were not good and Chelsea were good, you'd still be like, I don't fancy us there. Like I think West Ham are one of those teams that even when you guys are in a bad moment, you still don't really want to face them. Like, I don't really know how to describe it. So yeah, I can definitely see you guys putting up a fight, but yeah, I think City are going to get it done.
For sure.
So moving on to game of the weekend, Gary.
Game of the weekend. Ooh. Holy hell.
We are partial to a 2-2 battle between
2-2 tie. 2-2 tie.
No chance. Not at home. I mean, United, I get it. They lost last week.
He's like, no chance.
Get out. Behave. United
you behave.
Weirdly, and go back to it, United are a team still being cobbled together, still not sure of the best 11 if they've got a best 11. They're still not entirely sure what's happening there. Yes, Liverpool are in transition, but the difference is Liverpool are a team in transition of style, not player personnel. Yes. All of the same team are there. Yes, there's been, potentially a new addition, McKayson and whatever else, but the core of that team is still there. and still playing and know how each other play and whatever else. So this is going to be one of the most comfortable trips down the M62 that Liverpool have done in recent years, and I think this is an easy 2-0 win.
Yeah,
My
I
man
was
sounds
thinking like
confident.
2-1. I was just joking with the 2-2. I think it's 2-1. 2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know how much I love Manchester United. Ash, please don't clip that, Alec. Pack it in. Enough. I know what you've done in the past.
You know he's going to do that. You know he's out there doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be on Twitter first thing in the morning.
Oh,
but yeah,
Matty.
I know. Again, kind of like West Ham have that aura in games. I know sometimes United will be so bad, and then there will come this one game where they need to turn up. So kind of just do. But yeah, I do not.
Exactly. Peaches. Boom. Boom.
Oh no. Yeah, I think Liverpool are going to do this. I don't know if it's. I really want it to be another one of those games. When was it? Was it last season or the season before when you battered them like 8-0 or something? That was a good time.
7-0. Yep.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. Don't think it's going to be quite that dramatic, just because of the way you're playing is a lot more controlled, calm. Let's just win the game and kill it off, rather than let's just keep going. Let's absolutely pump these guys. But yeah, I can't see United doing anything here. I'm just not. You guys look too calm and composed, and they look so catastrophically all over the place, like they always do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the risk of that is obviously, like we talked about, the FA Cup or whatever it was last season. It ended up 4-3 ding dong all over the shop. But that's the cup game, and that was a little bit, towards the end of Klopp's reign, and everything was a bit like, whereas this, I think, is Arne Slot. This is a chance for him to kind of put his marker down.
Yeah, lay down a marker, beat United at Old Trafford. That would be that would win over a lot of the Liverpool faithful. Like, that would do a lot for him.
Yeah. So there you go.
I'm feeling it, boys. Is there anything else? Is there any other news we feel like we need to squeeze in? I feel like we're pretty
any last minute news. I think we've covered everything. Apparently, Southampton has the deal for Ramsdale has gone through in the last 20 minutes.
Oh, goalkeepers are on the move. Goalkeepers
£25 million.
Which I don't think is surprising. He was too good for the Arsenal bench. Like, nothing against David Raya, but he was way too good to just be sat on the bench all the time.
Ramsdale should be pushing for England #1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Or Nick Pope, like we've all talked about in the past.
Yeah.
He's not gonna get there if he's not playing. So he needs to get out and get somewhere where he's
agreed. Peaches, agreed.
Yep. Where's Peaches going now? Yeah, good business. Yeah, because they need his kind of quality at the back there by the looks of it from Southampton.
Just that's such good experience. Which again, I know we spoke about this last week when talking about like Leicester with like Harry Winks and Jamie Vardy. Experience for freshly promoted teams is such a big deal, and you absolutely need it. And obviously, Ramsdale, I guess, is a good case study. There we go. I was looking for the word, but he's obviously got experience of both ends. He's been in those dogfights, and he has been in really successful teams. He knows what it's like. It's not as if he's going to be coming into a situation where all he's ever known is success, and coping down the bottom is going to be a struggle for him. He knows what's coming if he's walking into that situation, which is that feels like a good signing for Southampton.
There's a good bit of business for Southampton, possibly a good bit of a career move for Aaron Ramsdale as well, to get back into the public eye, back playing regular football.
Yeah, because then I think it's even one of those signings where, say, if Southampton goes down, but he has a good account of himself, he's going to be fine. Like, he's going to be fine.
And with the new England manager at the helm, he wants to be showing his worth.
100%.
Good bit of business. 100%. Good bit of business all round there. Good bit of business all round. Other than that, I don't think there's any other news.
I think we're all good. I'm sure we'll probably. I'm sure we'll end the podcast and something huge will happen, and we'll have to wait a whole week to talk about it. But
it's going to be a crazy transfer window, though. This is going to be a crazy 24-hour, 48 hours going in the last days. It's going to be. I think it's going to be.
Ties out.
Yeah, it's going to be like it was 3 years ago, where Chelsea spent like 400 million in like 1 year, maybe 500 million in 1 year.
They'll do that in a day now, don't they?
Yeah, right. It's going to be crazy
still a couple
for everybody. For everybody. So
who's the big one coming in? And Chelsea are going to go out and get Tony? You think that would be the biggest?
Well, yeah, but apparently we're still in for
Osimhen.
Victor Osimhen, aren't we?
Osimhen from Napoli, maybe Sancho. Yeah.
Genuinely, I know I said this last week. I beg. I know no one from FIFA or UEFA or anyone who's watching this. Just please give us a transfer ban. I have had enough of this. I can't be bothered anymore. Please. Please.
Somebody shut it. Somebody shut down the shut the madness down.
Just make us actually use our squad. I'm so done with this.
Matty wants a transfer ban. I just want to get these long, high wages off my books, and Liverpool just wants to go back to glory.
I'm just done with it. I'm so done with looking at a lineup and being like, I just have no idea who half of you are. I don't know. People used to complain when we make £100 million signing. Now we make about 3 a window. Just pack it in. I've had enough.
And stop it with the 15-year contracts as well.
Oh, like the 8-year?
Yeah, Cole Palmer is signed until 2034.
And then Murdoch. Murdoch is signed long-term. I mean, listen, I was happy when we gave Bowen 8 years. That's deserved for me. But what you guys are doing?
That's the difference. He's earned it. He's come in.
He's your captain. He's gonna, he lives and breathes West Ham. He'll probably be there until he.
Well, his father-in-law will probably let him leave the club.
Exactly.
We're just playing FIFA, just signing young kids, giving them 10-year contracts.
You guys are playing Football Manager, Fantasy Football Manager, and he's just like, how old are you? 16, right? So we give you a 10-year contract. You'll never see the first team. You'll play for Vitesse on.
Like 5 times. It's so
bounce you around Europe till you get.
You kick that ball kind of nicely. You under the age of 22? Come here. Yeah, pretty much.
We'll sign you up. Yeah.
That's
true.
Again, that's
so damn true.
Hey, well, my prediction of last week still stands. Man City do not make the top 4 because of the 115 charges that they have to answer for at some point.
Yeah, that will be
fine, and then they'll be fine. They'll just get a fine. Honestly,
I'm sure they will be fine, which will make
it's just a fine. They're gonna pay something.
But it will be such a kick in the teeth to Forest and Everton and all the
Everton are the ones I feel bad for. The amount they've had to go through.
Yeah. And then City just come along and get a slap on the wrist.
Slap on the wrist, exactly.
Slap on the wrist. They'll get and it will be a massive fine. And I get that. It will be a massive fine. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just a fine. Money is...
Because normally I do always try and push back against that agenda of the big 6 and stuff get a lot of things their own way. But when you see what's happened to Everton, they've been so brutally treated, and then it's like, oh, okay, City finally have to answer for their charges, and then all of a sudden the governing body are like, maybe we just do what the NBA do and just pay a luxury tax. Do you reckon that'll be all right? And all of a sudden it's like, hello,
excuse me. Yep.
You've set a precedent. If you're gonna do that, that is fine, but that needs to even us. If Chelsea go down to League One, bloody send us down. We deserve it. No, sorry, need to leave my gender out of this, but
unbiased.
The problem is you have set a precedent now. So now anything after this, if you do not stick to that, which Everton have been absolutely rinsed by, that is not a good look for the authorities.
Absolutely going to open up so many cans of worms if they don't give the same treatment. As you say, precedent was set last season when they gave that to the points deduction to Everton for wasn't that big an indiscretion.
Nowhere near what City have done, I suppose, is the point, right? It's not even comparable. For what obviously Everton did break the rules, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have been punished. I'm in no way saying that, but the precedent that Everton have been set, Man City, if they were held to that and are found guilty of all these charges, will be liquidated. But I can guarantee you, because of the amount of money, that will not happen.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that Everton and Forest, and say here, they complied with all of the stuff. They didn't hide anything. They didn't obfuscate. Mm-hmm. They didn't argue with it. They kind of went, guys, look, sorry, we've realised something happened here, there, hands up, crap, can we sort this out, let you guys know. And still got that happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
And yet City...
Yeah, imagine how bad it would be if they were being as shady as City are being. Yeah, exactly.
Been underhand and not sharing books and saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, and then taking it and fighting it. if it happens, then as you say, Matty, liquidation is extreme and obviously won't happen. But
Oh yeah, not that I'm saying that should happen. I
it
know they
has to
obviously
be
do.
prohibitive points deductions
Yeah.
to such an extent that it is actually making a difference. I.e., it puts the minus 70 points, a la the Saracens in the rugby a few years back when they
Yeah, or like look what happened to Rangers. Like,
Yeah.
I know that's
Bam.
obviously a little while ago now, but you know they broke the rules. They got relegated. What was it like 3, 4 divisions?
Consistently broke the rules over a period of time, knowingly consistently broke.
Yeah, but you know they've also proven that it can be done. They worked their way back up. They have done it. So I mean, yeah, this is a whole podcast in itself, I think. So that'll be very interesting.
VAR and the VAR podcast and the Man City charges.
Yeah,
podcast.
I think when they actually start doing the proceedings for that, I think we'll definitely have to dig into it a bit more.
September, isn't it? Early September. Sometime.
Yeah, it's not long now. Not long now.
Right, we'll save that for a couple of weeks. Right, G, this is our new slot. We're going to do this on a Monday, right? Monday going forward.
Monday going forward. Yes, Monday going forward.
Monday's going forward. This will be the slot, apart from next week, because it's first week of football.
We'll see it.
I don't know. We'll work it out. We'll
Monday,
be back.
Monday, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. It's going to be one of those. We'll see what happens.
It's going to be one of those. The boys will be back. It's been lovely catching up with you boys.
Yep.
Shooting the crap, breaking it all down. Let's do it again. Matty, thanks for jumping in. I know it's late over here. It's just gone past midnight, but hey, it's been worth it.
Always worth it.
Love you, buddy. Thanks for everything.
Peaches, great pod. What time do you guys start in the UK usually? That's what she's wondering.
When this started, what was this? 10:30 kickoff.
This one was like 10:30. Yeah. If you're ever tuning in for any of the NFL stuff, it's normally a little bit earlier, but then it's also us, so we're normally a bit late. So who knows?
This pod starts. This will be a 10:30 start to catch G on the other side of the pond. So to give him some time to get back from work. So yeah, it'll be a 10:30 start for most of these shows. We'll catch you guys next week. Till then, this has been Sportsmag UK. This has been Let the Mayhem Begin. Thanks for watching, boys. Till next week.
Peace.